Hey, Cable, the Profitable Personal Trainer here for Friday afternoon. And today, you know what? I actually had somebody ask me yesterday, what do I do when I'm feeling burnt out and when it feels like things are difficult or challenging at work and you're just getting burnt out. And I think particularly if you're a solopreneur that you're trying to do everything yourself yet, you don't have a team around you, it's not a matter of if this happens, it's just a matter of when. So here's some tips for how I deal with burnout and try to stay focused all the time. So first thing, if I'm feeling pretty burnt out, what I try to do is I try to pick a couple of days that I can literally just like get out of town. Ideally, I take an extended weekend, 3 days, leave the city. It's a good time for my wife and I. We head out to Canmore or Banff to the mountains and surround ourselves with beautiful scenery. During that time, I don't check my email. I don't basically look at my computer, no Facebook, no nothing that could remind me of work. And I spend a lot of time either reading things that allow my imagination to kind of wander, and particularly I read things that are not business related. So this is where I like to pick up like a science fiction fantasy novel, which I used to read a lot when I was a kid and things like that. And those are the type of books I read. Or I'm a movie guy, so we watch a few movies and things like that. Anything that allows my mind to wander and my creativity to soar, but not business related. On the final day of the weekend, what I like to do is pick up a different book, something that now is business or personal development related, something that kind of still allows me to get inspired, something that I enjoy reading. So some of my favorite books were like Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week, or I know it's analytical, but I loved Good to Great by Jim Collins, or particularly my favorite is pretty much anything by Richard Branson because he's a huge idol of mine. So I find that on the final day that sort of allows me to refocus, and then I'll finish out the day by watching things that are motivational or inspirational. Tony Robbins stuff on YouTube or any of the other millions of motivational videos that are on YouTube. Once I'm done that, before the day ends, what I start is making my list for tomorrow. And I always try to make a habit of this, is that I make my list of the things that I'm going to start my day off with tomorrow so my subconscious mind can go to work and start finding a solution. Now, on that day in particular, what I like to do is I like to look at the problems head on because I'm now generally pretty motivated and inspired and I'm creative. So I start to look and document and make a list of here's the problems that I'm overcome, here's the challenges that are holding me back, and why work or business tends to be so frustrating at the moment. And once I've identified a few problems, then I'll pick what I think is the worst one and start to draft ideas for how we're going to solve that problem, whether it's new systems or different tasks that I can basically start the next morning with to try to overcome those problems. And ultimately, that's kind of how I try to avoid burnout and stay back on track. But more great stuff like this, hopefully systems, how-tos, anything you need to kind of make your fitness business more successful, profitablepersonaltrainer.com. I'll see you next week.